Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's reviews as the weather is getting chillier and the big prestige pictures start coming in. First up is Kenneth Branagh's adaptation of the classic Agatha Christie mystery novel with an all-star cast joining in on the fun. This is Murder on the Orient Express. When you hear that title, you immediately know what to expect, even if you have not read the book or seen other adaptations. And Branagh does not rock the boat in that regard, as he directs a straightforward take on the material. And I kind of admire the traditionalist approach he goes with, which has an almost old-fashioned feel. In many ways, this is sort of like a play, as we see the various actors play the roles, and the story glides along in the expected fashion. My favorite part of this film is actually the setup, as we're one by one introduced to all the key suspects. Branagh also seems to really be enjoying himself as Hercule Poirot, walking through the train cabins with confidence that he will solve the mystery. I also appreciate how talkative the film is. There are a couple of action scenes here and there, but mostly to progress the plot further than for spectacle reasons. Where Branagh does liven up the direction is in the cinematography. It probably would not have been all that cinematic to have the characters merely being interrogated, so he and his DP utilized many creative camera angles to give that extra flair. Now, one can definitely agree Branagh plays things a bit too safe, and I do think the mystery is resolved rather abruptly. When the real killer is revealed, I thought, that's it? There wasn't that much investigating going on. This movie is a little under 2 hours, and I guess Branagh wanted it to be brisk. Overall, if you want a respectful take on the classic story, you'll find that here. If you're looking for some amount of risk on the filmmaker's part, there's not a whole lot of that. It's just a solid, well-made little mystery picture that, yes, hints at possibly more adventures with Poirot in the lead. Next up is one of the year's most talked about indie darlings, Greta Gerwig's Lady Bird. This is definitely one of those autobiographical films, and that's fine, as we can see how personal the story is for Greta Gerwig, and it's involving enough that I eventually stopped trying to spot where reality exists and when fiction starts. Saoirse Ronan, one of today's best young actors, is excellent as Christine, and she shares great chemistry with Laurie Metcalf as her mother. The best scenes are early on, when we introduce into her upbringing, and we get a sense of her small-town life and going to Catholic school. I never went to Catholic school, but Gerwig still brings a universal feeling to those scenes, as we see Christine try to survive in that cutthroat high school world and the hardships she encounters. And while the film is set in the early 2000s, it does not hit you over the head with it. It also makes one reflect that it wasn't that long ago. What's the major difference now? Teenagers Instagramming? I don't know any teenagers, so I honestly have no idea what the current generation of teens does these days. Anyway, the humor more than works, and Christine's relationship with her best friend Julie is a sweet one. Eventually the script does go into the standard plot points of the coming-of-age teenage film and starts to feel a bit repetitive. And while I understand what message Gerwig wanted to say in the ending, I felt she missed an opportunity to end on a more poignant scene. In terms of similar movies of this ilk, I had more of a personal reaction to The Edge of 17 myself. However, Lady Bird is a solidly made little film about teenagerhood, and I look forward to Greta Gerwig's future directing efforts. Thanks for watching this week's reviews, and I'll see you next time.